Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Recha, Kodesh. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. Now, this is something that some headlines that I was reading earlier today. And this article in specific, as you can see from ZeroHedge.com, is dealing with the Angry Bird, which we've been hearing more and more about this. So, it's no surprise that more information is coming out. However, obviously, as I'm doing this video and it's going on YouTube, I'm going to be very mindful of what I say and how I say it, because we know that, they could easily just strike your channel for anything that you speak on that's related to situations like this. However, as you can see in the headline, question mark confirms the Angry Bird death in Mexico as trust the science experts wants to test America's 40 million cows. And when you read this article, I'll give just like a overview of it. It's basically going into a case where you had a human infection of this H5N2, and as you can see, it says this is the first laboratory confirmed human case of this reported globally. Now, what makes this particularly interesting, which I've done, I think, a couple of videos on it, but if we go to my page here, I think this is about a year or some change ago. I wonder if it'll still be on here. Wow. Let's see if I can find it. If I can't, then it's all right. But basically, there was a video I did, and this was the ex head or director of the C people, and he was basically saying that his concern is for the next situation, exactly this, the Angry Bird. And he said he believes, and recently he came out and said that again. He said he believes that's going to be the real deal. Okay, to put it in cryptographic terms, if if I'm using that correctly. But anyway, so it's not surprising that you're hearing, it's like gradually, right? You're hearing more little bits here and there, and just like before, it's going under the radar for the average individual. You have people now they have their eyes wide open, right? Because of recent events, they have their eyes wide open. They're watching everything. They're saying, what angle could be getting worked on here? But you have, not only do you have this going on, but coincidentally, and I say that sarcastically, you have the Who Dat, right? And they had that, I think it was the something treaty, One Accord Treaty, or some, I think that's what it was called, or either that, or it was some treaty that was basically to grant them certain abilities and authority to handle situations like this when they arise and they turn into actual demics. And just the timing of all of these things coming together, when you read this article, you find out that the Who Dat is saying, right, I'm going to read actually this part right here, based on available information, right, because they said that this case, which happened in Mexico, where this individual, got taken out by the Angry Bird, that they said, okay, this person was already bedridden for like 3 weeks. They had underlying medical conditions already. So based on the Who Dat, right, it says they assess that the current risk to the general population posed by this thing is low. And that is something that you will hear regardless of if this thing had a mortality rate of 99.9%, in the beginning stages, you'd still hear this. It's all a part of the damage control, avoid panic, that kind of tactics, the basic tactics, the 1-2s that they always use. But don't be surprised if, as time goes on, because you're hearing more and more about this Angry Bird going from birds to cows. Now the main thing is cows, right? And different cattle, different forms of cattle. But guess what? You get food, right? get food from these animals. But now if they say there's a case reported over here, you gotta start taking out them animals on that farm. And what do you think that's going to do to prices of food? Because they're going to start to caution people, stay away from this, stay away from that, stay away from this. And then they're also, the prices of it is also going to go up, because if majority of these farms have to now start culling their creatures, because so in some cases might not even be proven. It's just like, oh, we suspect that there's a case here, you got to take them all out. So on one angle, there's that issue. But the next is, there's more and more information coming out about how this thing is jumping and spreading and whatnot. But remember once upon a time when the the Vanessa thing, the C-19 was traveling and traversing, making its way from, remember it started, or at least they from what we heard, it was mainly in I think it was in China or so. And people were like, oh, close the borders. Oh, and they were like, no, we don't got to close the borders. Everything is all good. And then they turned around and said, oops, a couple of people are in here now. And then but there we go. Now it's gone from here now to New York. Now to yada yada. Now we want to shut down travel and blah blah blah. The point is, it's always, oh, we were a step too late. Oh, we didn't, according to the signs, we didn't think that it was needful for us to do this just yet. We don't think that is of concern just yet. Yeah, well, here's one example. If I was in a Who Dat and there is this vote to give me power, where when there's a situation like this that brews into something much worse, I have the authority to go up in there and in a nutshell, the government's got to answer to me. They got to step aside and let me do my job. So I'm saying, look, shut this down, you got to do it. I will never be able to exercise that power if there's no need to. If there's no situation where I need to, what I can't do anything, right? So if I can foresee, right, a possible situation like this turning into something worse, and I'm just giving a hypothetical example here, a situation like this getting worse, and I can say, well, if we take measures now and we put people on high alert now, maybe there's certain things we can do to avoid this getting any worse than it already is. But would I really want to do that? Here it is. I just got granted all this authority, and I can't use it unless there's an ideal situation. And you expect me to stop an event from becoming that ideal situation? I don't know. Maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I think it's fine just now. Let's leave it. Let's see what happens. Maybe it jumps to some other individual. Maybe the count of bodies start going up from 1 to 3 to 5 to 10 to 15 to 100 to 1,000. Then maybe we start looking at it again. But it's already been cautioned. The alarm has already been sounded by this ex-head of the CDC. And interestingly enough, he basically came out and said it blatantly that that's going to be the next thing. So. And even the Who Dat, they said that during like the wrapping up of the C-19, they said there are a lot of things that they can learn from this situation to prepare them for the next one. So it wasn't like the last one that happened was the actual last one. And remember, even the Lord prophesied when he mentioned in Matthew 24 and verse 7, right? For nation shall rise against nation, which we're seeing that now, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences, that's plural, and earthquakes in diverse places. So pestilences is not just what we saw happen. We're talking about different kinds, different plagues, different things that are taking people out here and there and all of that. And the world will be a very different place when people start to, like the modern generation has to live through or experience a situation where you're dealing with actual, like a high mortality rate pathogen, a pestilence that has a very high mortality rate, and you actually start to see like things that you would see in a movie setting, but happening in real life, not just on the TV, but actually you look outside and you see these things. People will see the world from a completely different angle when a situation like that happens. Okay. Now, is that what they're planning? I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. Who knows? But we do know that, as Yahushua said, all these, verse 8, are the beginning of sorrow. So we're just getting started. Ladies and gentlemen, we're just getting started. All right, take a seat, take a seat. So that's all part of the judgment of the Heavenly Father. So, the point is, and like I said, I'm not really going to read too much into this. I will see if there's a way that I can link this in the comment section, because now you can't even, there's so many restrictions on YouTube that you can barely even link certain articles. But before I end it, this is another part that I wanted to mention, and this was a post by the Wall Street Silver, which says, "Who dat chief scientist, quote unquote, says cows are the main issue in a new Angry Bird spreading. We know exactly what they're planning. They want to start ordering ranchers to cull millions of cattle so real meat prices skyrocket and nobody except Davos can afford to eat meat." Huh. And then they bring the bugs. See, when they tell you that you're going to eat the bugs and you're going to like it, they know very well nobody wants to get up and eat bugs. And yet they still come out and tell you you're going to eat the bugs and you're going to like it. So they must clearly have some plan, something up their sleeve in mind, if they're going to come out and tell you you're going to eat the bugs and you're going to like it. When they come out and blatantly tell you, like Klaus Schwab, and tell you that and they give dates by this year or within this span of time, people are going to be doing this, or they're going to have these implants, and then they know that the current population is not really down for it, at least, like, let's say back then, but yet they still come out and tell you these things with confidence. So that must mean that they have something up their sleeve. If somebody came up to you and just said something to you, something that seems so unrealistic, so unlikely, and they just said it with all this confidence, like they just know. I mean, you start to think, oh, do they know something that I don't know? Because you saying this like you know how difficult it is to get everybody on board. So do you have some plan in mind? And yes, they do have some plans in mind, and those plans are going to lead to a different America, really a different world, as they will call the new world. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Just wanted to highlight this as we're seeing more and more talk of this thing, more and more and more. So let's see. Maybe this does become the next thing. Maybe they put a little twist on it to where they don't go with the full demic route, and maybe they use this as an excuse to take out food supplies or whatnot. Either way, we know that according to prophecy, like Yahushua said, these are the beginning of sorrows. So you can expect something to come out of this, and chances are it's not going to be something pleasant. Lord willing, this was edifying and informative to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rechak Wadash. Until next time, Shalom.